me feeling like I'm academics.
Okay. Really quickly, we got to get to Alisha Andrews. If you don't know who that is, Alisha Andrews was 1/5 of the charged individuals for the death of Foolio. She's accused of basically giving up the drop. And she's accused of giving up the drop on Foolio that led to him dying. Now, she was actually very lucky. Her lawyers argued for a separate trial, and she used a litany of excuses. First, she was like, "Oh, I'm pregnant, so like I might have to go to term during the trial. Could I get a separate trial?" But ultimately, she was actually her charges pretty much damn near got downgraded to manslaughter, right? And the reason why is that the state couldn't really do an effective job of proving that she was knowledgeable within the plan, because remember, it's basically conspiracy murder. Conspiracy means you knew the plan and you were part of it. She was able to say, "Hey, I'm just this dimwit girl that was following her boyfriend. I didn't know they were going to murder someone." So she escaped life in prison. Now, manslaughter carries a varying degree of ranges, but the one that she was found guilty on actually was, the max was 15 years. Check this out.
The air tonight. Within the last hour, a jury in Tampa found Alisha Andrews guilty of manslaughter in the deadly shooting of Jacksonville rapper Foolio. The jury reached the verdict after spending hours deliberating tonight. 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Chris Hurst is live at the Hillsborough County Courthouse tonight. And Chris, the jury handed down the lesser charge.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Alisha Andrews had been charged with first-degree murder, but the jury had the option of convicting her of a lesser offense still related to the homicide of Foolio. They did that, convicting her of manslaughter, finding her not guilty of conspiracy to kill Foolio. The verdict was announced at about 10:30, so just about a half an hour.
So remember, conspiracy, she had to know it. She had to be a part of the plan, and she was able to convince the jury, saying her boyfriend was abusive to her. He would cheat on her and, at times grab her phone, take her phone. She didn't know what he was doing. And she just wanted to be with him because she was madly in love. They actually bought that theory that, maybe she wasn't in on it on a conspiracy level, but they do believe her actions of moving around with him ended up being part of the reason why Foolio died.
Ago. The jury deliberated for about 4 hours. The judge asked them around the 10 o'clock hour, do you want to stay and keep going, or maybe come back someday next week and continue deliberations? They all said they wanted to go back, get this figured out, get this finished, and we do have this verdict in the first of what will be many cases in the murder of Foolio. It comes after Alisha Andrews testified this morning. There were closing arguments this afternoon. Now, during closing arguments, prosecutors told the jury Andrews helped plan the trip from Jacksonville to Tampa with her co-defendants, and she helped them stalk and hunt down Foolio. They also pointed to her interview with police, saying she lied and covered for her boyfriend. One of the
By the way, the jury decided to give her manslaughter instead of conspiracy to murder, despite the fact that even after being incarcerated, she was still talking to her boyfriend. She got on the stand and clarified that, hey, the only reason why I still talk to him is that, he has a control over me, or I'm in fear of him. So when he wants something, I'll do it. And they're like, but if he's locked up and you're locked up, like, why do you have to do something? They're like, well, he would send people to threaten to beat me up. So she got to use a woman card big time. It was seen and understood that she was in fear of this guy, and she had to go by his demands. And it made it to believe that she only went to Tampa to commit this murder because of him.
Accused gunman. The defense contended she had no idea about the plan, and Andrews testified she was, and still is, scared of her boyfriend and the ongoing gang war at the root of the murder. In the end, the jury made its decision.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense.
Okay, so she was found guilty for that. Now, she got sentenced in a really quick sentencing hearing, but I got to tell you the drama before she gets here. So she gets found guilty for manslaughter, right? And let me see. Max penalty for manslaughter in Florida. Let me see what degree. Okay. So the standard manslaughter penalties it's 15 years is the max and $15,000 in fines. The standard is usually getting about 9 to 10 years. So usually getting about 10 years, and they're saying with a firearm, if there's a firearm there, usually they give you like 12 years, but usually people don't get the max. So usually on average, if you get a manslaughter based on a DUI, you would get like 10 years. If you get manslaughter with a firearm, you get 11 years. And if it's just manslaughter in general, you get around like 9 years. And for whatever reason, she came in for her sentencing, and they try to make those same points, but they made it to a different judge. Now, what you don't know, and well, some of you guys might know, she filed a motion after she got found guilty months ago. So this is, 6 months ago? 6 months. She got found guilty 6 months ago. She made a motion to the court saying that the judge was being mean. And there's a part in the trial where the judge scolds her lawyer for laughing. Judge scolds Alisha Andrews' lawyer. Yeah, she gets scolded for laughing and like, let's see. I'm gonna see if I can play that right here. Say she was right here. So listen.
Miss Herrera, stop. Miss Herrera, stop. I didn't ask you to talk.
By the way, the lawyer that got scolded was the one that was doing her hair in court the first day.
Yeah, you do. You do. Stop, Miss Herrera, you need to stop right now, because you know what? You've been making faces throughout this entire trial. This entire trial, yeah, you have been. Okay. And everything's been caught on video.
I know, and I also hope that the court has caught and noticed all of the gestures and the tone, which was addressed yesterday for the state. But it's fine, no problem. I will do my best to.
Please, do your best. Yeah, and your attitude is very disrespectful. I'll note for the record. Okay, very good. If you wouldn't mind moving, let's bring him back in.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Now, because of this, after she got found guilty, they filed a motion to say the judge that's going to sentence her, basically because she doesn't, she clearly doesn't get along with her counsel, she's probably going to be unfair. So that was a point where the case is already finished. Only thing left is sentencing. So they removed this judge. So this judge here got removed.
You need to stop right now.
Do you see her face? No.
Because you know, and
okay, we can't. All right, yeah. So this judge got removed. They removed this judge, right? Now, for sentencing, she got a new judge. But this judge, I ain't gonna lie, she was on timing. And maybe some people say judges are all friends. This judge looked like she was making up for the last judge getting kicked off. So here it goes.
Well, any witnesses, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so I'll let the state present arguments with respect to the recommendation.
Now, this person here is Foolio's mom. She took the stand. She gave testimony and spoke about her son and how devastated it's been since the murder of her son. And now, after that, all those letters and that appearance on the stand finished, it was time for the lawyer to address the court if he wanted to. And also, she didn't take the stand this time around. She took the stand during the trial. But the lawyer's going to address the court, then the sentence is going to come down.
Either manslaughter cases or leaving the scene of death.
So that's a prosecutor.
So we are asking the court not to give a 15-year sentence in this case. We're asking the court actually to depart downward under 921.0026, section 2B. Judge, in that section specifically states the defendant was an accomplice to the offense and was a relatively minor participant in the criminal conduct. We believe that applies here. We also believe there are some other subsections that apply, but that one in particular, just based off of the jury's verdict in this case, where there are 4 other co-defendants who were convicted of much higher offenses that were actually facing the death penalty, the state recognizes that there was a difference between those co-defendants and Ms. Andrews, and the fact that they were convicted and are likely to be sentenced or will be sentenced to life in this case. Ms. Andrews' goal, after having read all the transcripts and gone through the trial, is very much minor when compared to those co-defendants in this case. So we're asking the court to go below the guidelines. The reason why I cited or filed a motion to take judicial notice of the 8 cases that I did send over to the court is not because those cases are mirror images of this case. This case is probably a unicorn. I'm not, based off of the motions that we filed, right, the motions for new trial and the motions for reconsideration, Judge, we obviously believe that the facts of this case don't amount to a manslaughter charge. There was no manslaughter here at all in this case. And that was argued out in the motions, and so I won't go over that. But this case, to find another case that's exactly like it, was not really our intent, but we don't know that would actually ferret out. But that's not really our intent. The intent of filing the motion to take judicial notice of these 8 cases is to see a range of different sentences for people who've been convicted of either manslaughter or some sort of act that resulted in a death that wasn't an intentional act. And so all of those cases, if we go down the list, right, state of Florida versus Bango Stedman, that individual received 7 years in the Department of Corrections, followed by 8 years of probation. He scored
Okay, he's going to speak for a while, and then he's going to throw it to the judge in a second.
No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
All right. So the court having
the jury decision and the rulings that were made in the trial, right? And so she does intend to have a new trial if the appellate court grants it. So she's not testifying here today, and no one else, no witnesses are testifying here today for that reason.
Okay. So they explain why she's not testifying. Because in usually a testimony at a sentencing hearing, they're looking forward to you admitting guilt. And if you admit guilt in a test of guilt and responsibility, that could severely weigh on the judge. Be like, hey, this person's taking accountability of what they did. They know they fucked up. We don't got to give them the max. Now, when you do that, like, for example, Sean Gathright did that, the majority of questions that you're putting your client back on the stand, the questions are different now. The questions are going to be, hey, since you're trying to get a lower sentence, did you regret doing that? And it's almost in a roundabout way, you're telling on yourself. So because they're going to go for a new trial, they don't put her on the stand.
So we're asking the court not to take into account the fact that Ms. Andrews is not on the stand testifying or that her parents are not on the stand testifying on her behalf. I'm asking the court to depart below the guidelines to give her a credit time served and followed by 5 years of probation.
So they ask for time served and 5 years of probation. Keep in mind the average is 9. When used with a weapon, it's 12. Let's see what the judge thinks.
anything else from either side before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
All right, so the court having obviously reviewed the trial transcripts, the court file, all the evidence in this case, the pre-sentence investigation report, the argument of counsel, it's the judgment sentence in order of this court to adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence her to 15 years in the Florida State Prison.
Wow. No time to think about it. She doesn't say, oh, let me go back to my chambers. Let's think about it, or I'll give the decision on Monday. Immediately, she gives her the max. 15 years in state prison.
You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you. You all let me know when you're ready on Casal, please. Okay, thank you.
Now, I will say this. It's something about her demeanor. It's like she knows she's getting away with murder, no matter even if they give her 15. Keep in mind, her boyfriend won't ever get out of jail. She looks over to her lawyer, and even after that harsh sentence, she got the max. You're going to see her smile. Look. Or she smiles with him. Look. See? That doesn't look like the face of somebody that's distraught.
Yeah.
Just like that. Judge already dipped out, man. The judge wasn't here for none of that bullshit.
Or mental disorder. Or
Very much
That judge got the fuck on out of there, man. Be like, yo, I gotta go catch my lunch and beat traffic, man. Yeah, she stayed on the stand for 3 hours during her own trial. 3 damn hours. See, she was chuckling at times.
this morning.
Alisha Andrews is one of the 5 suspects charged in the murder of Jacksonville rapper Foolio. Prosecutors say she helped track and follow Foolio before the ambush in Tampa. But during her trial, cameras caught her smiling and laughing, even applying makeup.
I'm going to go ahead and excuse Mr. Jimenez at this time.
Is this just nervousness or a sign she's not taking it seriously? What do you think?
When they were reporting about opening statements, I think they reran an interview with Mr. Malcolm and Mr. McClymonds talking about the evidence this morning.
Alisha.
Yep. So we will see. Did you guys want to see a little bit of what the mom said? This is what the mom had said. Foolio's mom.
Man, they could have turned around, but yet and still, they carried on the plan. Today, had people not participated in carrying out this plan. A mother lives with instinct and intuition, and mine tells me that this was not ignorance. This was participation. It was calculated. They planned it. On my way driving here, every second, every minute, every hour, they could have changed their mind. They could have turned around, but yet and still, they carried on the plan to hunt my son down like a deer in the woods, like they were hunting. This was loyalty to violence over humanity. My son was treated like his life did not matter. He was ambushed and robbed of the chance to grow older, become a father one day, continue his career, and simply live. Every birthday, holiday, and family gathering is now filled with grief. I replay the memories of my son constantly. I think about his laugh, his voice, and the moments we will never get back. The trauma from this loss follows me every single day. No sentence will ever bring Charles right to me, but accountability matters. Alisha family can see her. They can talk to her. She can see her child, but I can't see my child. I have to go to visit him in a wall at the cemetery. I ask this court to remember that behind every headline is a real family suffering permanent damage. My son's life mattered. He was not disposable. The emotional devastation caused by this murder reaches far beyond the courtroom and will affect my life forever. I respectfully ask the court to impose a sentence that reflects the seriousness of the role Alisha Andrews played in the events that led to my son's death, because she knowingly knew what was going on. Choices were made, and those choices had deadly consequences. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of my son, Charles Jones.
Do you have any questions of the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Does the defense have any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you. You may step down.
Okay. It's very interesting, people. Let me see what else is going on. So another day in another Floyd Mayweather lawsuit. So people have been trying to figure out what's the status of Floyd Mayweather financial situation.